You've been playing the wrong game your entire life. Right now, as you're watching this, someone with half your intelligence is commanding the respect you feel you have to beg for. They are shaping the opinions of the entire room while you sit there in silence, wondering why your ideas are never heard. And here is the brutal truth. You are the one letting them win. You were taught that the smartest person wins, that if you just collect enough knowledge, get the best grades, and master your technical skills, you will be rewarded. This is a lie. This lie is the most dangerous trap ever set. It's a rule designed to keep you studying the game, not playing it. It's why you are stuck. It's why you can be a walking encyclopedia of facts but have zero influence. You've been trained to be a library, not a weapon. You have the knowledge, you have the skill, but you have no power. That is because there are two levels of intelligence. The first is the one society sells you, the public, technical knowledge of the pawn. The second is the one they hide from you, a dark intelligence. This intelligence isn't about what you know, it's about what you see. It's the ability to see the hidden motives, the unspoken power dynamics, and the psychological levers that actually control the world. This hidden power is often mistaken for simple aggression, but aggression is a crude tool. It is the hammer of the amateur. The master strategist, the dangerously smart architect, doesn't use a hammer, they use a scalpel. They are not aggressive, they are precise. They understand the real game is not played with morality, but with rationality. Not with raw anger, but with cold, surgical calculation. Today, we are opening Machiavelli's real playbook. You will learn the 5 forbidden secrets of dark intelligence that separate the pawns, who follow the rules, from the architects, who create the rules. To begin this journey, type this commitment into the comments below. I'm here to see the real game. Chapter 1. The Law of Moral Detachment. The first law, becoming dangerously smart, is to unchain yourself from the burden of traditional morals. The amateur is trapped in a mental cage of good and bad. They are terrified of being seen as a bad person. They waste 90% of their mental energy asking, is this the right thing to do? This emotional hesitation is a fatal weakness. They are slaves to moral codes they didn't create. This is because societal morality is, itself, a system of control. It is a set of rules designed for the masses, not to make them powerful, but to make them predictable. It prioritizes harmony over effective victory and passivity over ruthless action. This code is a weapon used by others to manage you. By making you fear being seen as impolite, confrontational, or selfish, they trap you in a state of self-sabotaging inaction. The master strategist, the dangerously smart individual, breaks this conditioning. They operate from a state of moral detachment. They ask a different question. Is this action effective in achieving the outcome? This is not a license for chaos. It is a commitment to a higher purpose. The master achieves this state by fundamentally shifting their identity. The amateur's identity is, I must be a good person. The master's identity is, I must be an effective leader, a protector of the mission, or a builder of an empire. This new identity creates a new internal code. Good is what advances the mission. Bad is what threatens it. This moves the decision-making process from the emotional heart to the rational mind. Let's make this practical. The amateur, when betrayed by a team member, focuses on the betrayal. They get emotional. They want an apology. They want to be fair. The master sees the situation with cold clarity. The betrayal is simply data. The person is now a threat to the mission. The master's actions will not be good or bad, they will be necessary. They understand that pity and compassion, when misused to a known threat, are not virtues. They are strategic blunders that enable weakness, invite exploitation, and poison the entire system. This principle frees you from all psychological manipulation. When someone tries to guilt-trip you, it has no effect. Guilt requires you to subscribe to their external societal framework. The strategist is sovereign, operating from their own internal code. They know that what others call cold is simply clear. As Machiavelli knew, it is far safer to be feared than loved, because fear is a response to your power, while love is often just a response to your utility for others. This distinction is the very core of being morally detached. You are choosing to be effective and sometimes feared over being good and merely used. Type this affirmation into the comments. My focus is on the effective, not the good. Chapter 2. The Law of the Strategic Mask. The second law of dark intelligence is the mastery of your own persona. The amateur believes in total authenticity. They believe the world must accept them as they are. They express every doubt, every opinion, and every emotion, believing this is strength. In reality, they are a predictable, open book, broadcasting their weaknesses to every rival. Why is total authenticity so heavily promoted? Because it serves the system. An authentic person is an emotional person, and an emotional person is a predictable person. Their reactions can be easily judged, their triggers easily pulled. They are a known quantity, a solved equation. Society encourages you to be yourself, so that it knows exactly who you are and how to manage you. The master strategist knows their self is a tool. This is the law of the strategic mask. The amateur, trapped in their authenticity, sees this as deception. But this is not about lying, it is about performance. The master's performance is not an emotional reaction, it is a conscious choice of strategy. Before entering any room, they ask, "What is my objective, and who do I need to be to achieve it?" If the objective is to gain trust from a superior, they wear the mask of the invaluable, non-threatening servant. If the objective is to gather information from a rival, they wear the mask of friendly indifference. If the objective is to lead through chaos, they wear the mask of unshakable calm. The amateur's persona is reactive. They are what their feelings tell them to be. The master's persona is proactive. They are what the situation requires for victory. By being dangerously smart, you control what people see. And what they see is what they believe to be real. This controlled performance achieves two things. First, it makes you strategically unpredictable. When your persona is a tool, no one knows your true intentions. Are you being kind because you are kind or because it serves your strategy? This uncertainty creates a powerful psychological advantage. It forces them to spend energy because they are trying to figure you out, while your true mind remains free to observe and plan. Second, and more importantly, the mask denies them leverage. When you are an open book, your triggers are a weapon for anyone to use. They know how to make you angry, how to make you jealous, how to gain your sympathy. When you wear a mask, you give them nothing to hold on to. You present a smooth, polished surface that offers no cracks for their psychological levers to find purchase. The amateur is a slave to their identity. The master uses identity as a key to unlock any door. To make this shift from amateur to master, you must internalize this core truth. Type this into the comments. My persona is my tool, not my master. Chapter 3. The Law of Environmental Control. The third law of dark intelligence is to never engage an enemy on their terms. The amateur is reactive. When a rival emerges, the amateur confronts them directly. They get into public arguments, send angry emails, and try to win a one-on-one battle of wills. This is a low-level, high-risk move that relies on brute force. It is a trap of the ego which trades a moment of gratification for a long-term war. The master strategist, the dangerously smart individual, never attacks the player, they attack the board. This is the law of environmental control. They know that a rival's power does not come from the rival themselves, it comes from their support system, their allies, their resources, their information flow. The master moves silently to dismantle this environment. This entire strategy requires a profound shift in mindset, from hot emotion to cold calculation. The amateur is driven by the impulse to fight. The master is driven by the objective to win. This requires strategic patience. The amateur wants the immediate hot satisfaction of a public victory. The master is willing to play the long game. They derive their satisfaction not from the emotional release of a fight, but from the cold, quiet click of the final piece falling into place. This is a game of psychological chess played in the shadows. The strategist identifies the rival's pillars of support and quietly replaces them. If the rival's power comes from controlling the flow of information, the strategist provides better, faster, and more accurate information to key decision-makers. If the rival's power comes from a key relationship, the architect becomes more valuable to that person. The rival is never attacked, they are simply bypassed. Their network of support doesn't get destroyed, it simply migrates to a more competent source of value. They don't spread rumors, they strategically position objective facts that reveal the rival's incompetence to key decision-makers. They don't block the rival's project, they subtly redirect the key resources needed for that project to their own. By the time the rival realizes they are in a fight, they are already isolated. Their allies have vanished. Their resources have dried up. But because there was no direct attack, there is no one to blame. Their failure appears to be a natural consequence of their own incompetence, not a strategic move by an invisible hand. While the amateur is focused on winning the battle, the master is focused on winning the war. Theirs is the ultimate silent victory, a win achieved without a single open declaration of war. This shift from direct force to invisible influence is the mark of a true master. Type this affirmation into the comments: I do not fight, I control the battlefield. Chapter 4. The Law of Inevitable Outcomes. The fourth law of dark intelligence is the mastery of the follow-through. The amateur is satisfied with small victories. They win an argument and feel superior. They get a rival to back down in a meeting, and they relax. They believe the conflict is over. This is a disastrous miscalculation. The master strategist understands that a threat half defeated is a threat multiplied. A rival who is merely beaten will retreat, learn from their mistake, study your methods, and return with a vengeance. This is the amateur's most common and most fatal error. They mistake a rival's surrender for their defeat. They win the public argument and, driven by ego, they stop. Why? Because to go further, to truly neutralize the threat, would require a final, cold, and ruthless step that their good person conditioning forbids. They are terrified of the execution. In stopping short, the amateur hasn't defeated their rival. They have just educated them on their own weakness. This is the law of inevitable outcomes. It separates a simple win from a total conclusion. The dangerously smart individual is not a brute. They are a finisher. Their actions are not driven by anger or hatred. They are driven by a cold, rational understanding that a known threat must be surgically removed to ensure the health of the entire system. When a master identifies a true, unresolvable threat, they do not win, they conclude. This mindset is defined by 3 non-negotiable principles. 1. No half measures. The amateur fires a toxic employee but gives them a good reference to avoid conflict. The master removes them and ensures they have no path to return or cause harm from the outside. 2. No emotional interference. The amateur feels bad at the last second and eases up. The master, having already made a cold, rational decision based on their moral detachment, executes that decision without any extra emotions. 3. No celebration. The master takes no joy in the victory. It is not a win, it is simply the inevitable, logical conclusion of a problem that needed solving. The only emotion is a quiet satisfaction that the system is now secure. This is the most critical and defining law of the master strategist. If you are not willing to see a necessary action through to its absolute, logical end, you have no business playing the game at this level. You are a liability to yourself and your entire system. Embracing this truth is the price of entry into the master's game. Type this affirmation into the comments: I do not win battles, I conclude them. Chapter 5. The Law of Infinite Options. The final law of dark intelligence is to never need anything from anyone. The amateur is constantly in a state of desperation, even if it's hidden. They need the job, they need the deal. They need the relationship to work. This neediness is a scent, and it attracts predators. They are forced to negotiate from a position of weakness, and they have no choice but to accept whatever scraps are offered. The master strategist understands this at a deeper level. They understand that the only way to never appear desperate is to build a life where desperation is impossible. This is the law of infinite options. This law requires a fundamental shift in perspective. The amateur sees a secure job or a stable deal as a destination, a place to rest. The master sees that same position as a platform, a temporary base from which to launch their next operation. They are never resting, they are always building. The dangerously smart individual is an architect of their own reality. While they have a secure job, they are quietly networking and cultivating 2 other potential career paths. While they are in a good deal, they are already researching their next 3 opportunities. They build their own skills, their own income streams, and their own sources of validation, so that no single person or entity holds the key to their survival. This is the ultimate position of power. When you have infinite options, your entire posture changes. You walk into a negotiation not as a beggar, but as a chooser. You have the ultimate leverage. You project a powerful aura of abundance because you are genuinely 100% willing to walk away from the table. This forces the other side to negotiate against themselves. They can sense that you don't need them, which makes them need you. This state of abundance does more than just win negotiations. It fundamentally shifts your identity. When you have a surplus of options, you are immune to both threats and promises. A threat is meaningless to someone who can walk away, and a promise of a small reward is unappealing to someone who knows they can build something greater on their own. The amateur clings to what they have. The architect builds a life where everything is a choice and nothing is a necessity. This is the final law, the one that guarantees all the others. Type this affirmation into the comments. My freedom is built on my options. In the beginning, you were told to affirm, I am here to see the real game. And now you do. You now see that traditional moralities is a system of control. You see that total authenticities is a strategic weakness. You understand that a direct fight is an amateur's trap, that a half victory is a total defeat, and that true power is built on a foundation of infinite options. These are the hidden secrets of the dangerously smart. You will feel a resistance to these ideas. They are cold, they are calculating, they are what the amateur calls ruthless. This is by design. Societal programming needs you to be moral, authentic, and direct. It needs you to be a good, predictable pawn, playing a game you are designed to lose. But this knowledge is not about becoming a villain. It is about protection. It is about building a psychological fortress so strong that no one can ever exploit, manipulate, or control you again. The goal is not to gain power over others. It is to gain power over your circumstances. It is to achieve absolute power over yourself, your emotions, your persona, and your options. This internal sovereignty is the foundation from which all external power is built. You now see the game. You see the hidden levers and the invisible strings. You can never go back to being just a piece on the board because you are no longer a pawn. You are the architect. If this video has opened your eyes to a different level of power, hit that like button. Share it with one person who is ready to stop being managed and start being a strategist. And subscribe for more truths that challenge everything you've been taught. Now, drop this final affirmation in the comments to seal your new identity. I am the architect of my reality.